Kai makes a discovery, and Drew is closer to freedom than anyone realizes. Oh, darlings, hold on tight, because this first story is one of those slow-building, tension-soaked situations that has been quietly ticking underneath everything else happening in Port Charles. And this week, something shifts. Something that the people who have been working very hard to keep Drew exactly where he is are absolutely not going to be happy about. Because Drew is waking up, and the wrong person is about to notice. Let us back up and appreciate exactly how extraordinary Drew's situation truly is. This man has been lying in that house, aware, present, taking everything in, while the world around him operates as though he is completely incapacitated. He has heard conversations he was never supposed to hear. He has watched people make decisions in his presence that they would never have made if they believed he could eventually speak or move. And all of that time, all of that enforced stillness, it has been building towards something. The paralytic that has been keeping Drew in this state is not permanent. It never was. And Drew's body has been doing what bodies do when they are consistently exposed to the same substance. It has been building a tolerance. Slowly, quietly, in a way that nobody managing his doses fully anticipated. The latest administration is not holding the way the previous ones did. And the window between helpless and capable is beginning to narrow in Drew's favor. Kai has always been uneasy about Drew being in Willow's care. He knows things about this situation that make him cautious in ways he cannot fully explain to the people around him. So when he decides to pay Drew a visit, just to check in, just to see how he is holding up, he is not expecting what he finds. Drew is moving. Not fully. Not enough to stand or walk or get himself out of that house on his own. But reaching. Trying. Pushing against the boundaries of what his body can currently do with a determination that tells you everything about who this man is. He is not waiting to be rescued. He is working toward rescuing himself. Kai sees it. And the immediate thought that crosses his mind is not relief. It is fear. Because Kai understands what Drew recovering means in the context of what Willow has been doing. A Drew who can speak is a Drew who can tell the truth. And a Drew who can tell the truth is a threat that Willow has already demonstrated she is willing to go very far to neutralize. Kai is going to take his concerns to Trina, because she knows the full picture too, and together, these two young people are going to have to figure out what to do with what they know while time is running out in multiple directions simultaneously. Drew is coming back. The question is whether Willow figures out how to stop it before he gets far enough to make it impossible. Sidwell's trial becomes Willow's undoing, and everything comes crashing down. Now, darlings, let us talk about a day of reckoning that has been building since the very first time Willow made a choice she knew she should not make and convinced herself she could manage the consequences. Because consequences in Port Charles have a way of accumulating quietly until the weight of them becomes impossible to carry, and then they all arrive at once. And for Willow, that moment is coming inside a courtroom at Sidwell's trial. Here is what makes this particular exposure so deliciously, terrifyingly fitting. Sidwell has never been loyal to anyone beyond the calculation of what that loyalty costs him versus what it earns him. He exposed Cassius in front of a detective not because it served any noble purpose, but because it was useful to him in that moment. He operates entirely on personal advantage. And when he is sitting in that courtroom watching things go badly, watching the case stack up against him, watching his options narrow, he is going to look around for something he can throw into the room that changes the dynamic. And Willow is going to be that something. Sidwell knows about the paralytic. He knows because he supplied it. He knows exactly what it has been used for and who has been administering it and what the purpose was. And in a furious, cornered, utterly self-interested moment, he is going to say all of it out loud, in open court, where it cannot be unsaid and cannot be unheard. The paralytic that faked a stroke and kept Drew locked in his own body for months. Supplied by Sidwell. Used by Willow. On Drew Kane, the man she shot and then kept silent through chemical imprisonment rather than face the consequences of what she did. When that lands in that courtroom, Willow's congressional seat is gone. Her reputation is gone. The carefully constructed image she has maintained through all of this is gone. And Michael, who has been working toward proving that Willow is not safe around their children, may finally have exactly what he needs to make that case undeniable. But here's the piece that is even more significant than the public exposure. Willow is going to fall apart. Not just strategically, not just politically. She's going to break in a way that has been building for a very long time, through layers of stress and fear and choices made in desperation that piled on top of each other until the foundation cracked completely. The breakdown is coming. And when it arrives, with everything out of her control and nowhere left to hide, Willow's next stop may be somewhere she never imagined she would end up. A place that the Reeves family has visited before. And that history makes the whole thing even more heartbreaking to watch. Everything Willow was trying to protect, everything she was trying to control, it is all going to slip through her fingers in that courtroom. And the fall from where she has been to where she is going to be one of the most dramatic descents the show has given us in a very long time. Jason Morgan is home, and Port Charles is never going to be the same. And now, darlings, we have arrived at the moment. The one that has been sitting at the center of this entire summer like a sun, everything else orbits around. Jason Morgan is back in Port Charles. He walked back through that door on a Monday, and the city he returned to is almost unrecognizable from the one he left, while somehow being completely and entirely the same. Let us take a breath and appreciate the full scope of what Jason is walking into. Because this is not a simple homecoming. This is a man who spent months in a black site in Indonesia, in conditions that the show has made clear were harsh enough to change a person fundamentally, returning to a world that kept moving without him. Carly, his best friend, his constant, the person he would do almost anything for, is in love with Valentine. Valentine, the man who has been on the wrong side of enough situations to fill a very long list. And Jason has to stand there and take that in and figure out how to be supportive of someone he loves while his every instinct says something complicated about the man she has chosen. Danny is carrying anger. Real anger. Because Danny found out the truth about why his father was really gone, that Jason sacrificed himself to protect Rocco, who was the actual shooter. And Rocco, for all the time they were close, did not tell the truth when telling it could have brought Jason home sooner. That fracture between them, between two young men who grew up almost as brothers, is going to need time and honesty to heal. And Jason is going to have to navigate being home while that wound is still raw. Everything else lands too.
Cullum is gone.
Sidwell is behind bars. The man who presented himself as Nathan turned out to be Cassius, Nathan's twin, a secret that rewrote everything people thought they knew about someone who died and seemingly came back. Ethan is back in town working for Sonny. And Rick, someone Jason has never fully trusted regardless of his relationship with Sonny, has moved significantly closer to the center of Sonny's world in Jason's absence. That last one is going to be a conversation. Because Jason is not going to be quiet about it. He's going to look at how much trust Sonny has placed in Rick, and he is going to say what he thinks, in the direct and completely unvarnished way that Jason always says what he thinks to Sonny. Whether Sonny listens, whether Sonny is even capable of hearing it given how far the Rick alliance has already developed, is another matter entirely. And then there is Britt, who never had the illness she believed defined her choices and shaped every goodbye she said too early. Who did not tell Jason certain things she knew, who is going to have to sit across from him at some point and find the words for all of it. That conversation is not going to be simple or comfortable, but it matters. Because what exists between Jason and Britt has always had real substance underneath the complications. But the thing that the writers themselves have been most deliberate about communicating is this: Jason did not come home unchanged. He went into that black site as one version of himself. He is walking out as someone who spent months in darkness with nothing but time and thought, and the most fundamental questions a person can ask about their own life. And the answers he came to in that silence are going to surprise people, are going to challenge people, are going to rearrange things that Port Charles thought were fixed and permanent.
The mob.
The lifestyle. The way he has always been there for Sonny, regardless of the cost. All of it is on the table for examination in a way it has never been before. He is not the same man who left. And figuring out who this new version of Jason is, what he wants, what he will and will not do, what his presence means for everyone who loves him, is going to be one of the most fascinating ongoing conversations this show delivers in the months ahead. He is home. He is changed. And Port Charles, battered and rebuilt and still standing as it always somehow is about to discover exactly what that means. Welcome home, Jason. We have been waiting. Port Charles is fully alive right now, darlings. Drew fighting his way back one tolerance-built moment at a time. Willow hurtling toward a courtroom reckoning she cannot escape, and Jason Morgan stepping back into a city that missed him more than it knew how to say. Every thread is pulling toward something. Every secret is running out of places to hide. And this summer is delivering everything it promised, and then some.